Hello, beautiful souls. It is December 5th, 2025. Again, all videos are timeless, whether it's mine or other content creators. All right, so just know that you're going to receive whatever you're meant to receive. I might call out some numbers, some key codes that may be relevant for you to let you know that this message might be for you. Again, take what resonates and leave the rest. And again, if these key codes don't resonate for this particular video, maybe they will be a sign and synchronicity for you on your next message that you receive. Because remember, your team source is working with you on a daily basis to bring all the magic, the signs, the key codes, the synchronicities, all of that to help you to continue to activate and release and unlock and do the healing work. Okay? So we are just here to be sacred mirrors for each other. And so today, like I said, usually my videos, my actually FreQSpeak videos, and this is day number 25 of 111 of sharing my real raw frequency and energy with you, the collective. And remember that frequency is constantly changing all the time. So you're going to get something different every single day. Okay. And I've been really guided just to share some journaled information, some information that I journal from channeled messages, my perspective and my information that I'm hearing it in a certain way. So I'm going to share some of that, some of my experiences when I go out into the wild, out into the world, when I leave the cave, when I leave my sacred sanctuary. Thank you, Spirit. I like that. Sacred sanctuary. So my home is my sacred sanctuary. It has been my healing cocoon. It has been my chrysalis. And I love being here. And lately, I've been loved being here more than I have been out there. But I had a meetup with a girlfriend today to share some beautiful energy with each other. And then I had a couple errands. And again, I'm also guided, if I don't forget, but speaking now, also guided to tell you how you follow your quantum compass, how you live more embodied as your higher self, living in guidance with your superconscious self, your higher self on a daily basis. And again, when you're running errands, you might have a plan when you leave the house, but while you're out there, that plan might get adjusted and changed, and some magic happened today. So hopefully we don't get too far from that, and higher self will help me keep me on track. So welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Tanya. Here I am, keeping it real, keeping it raw and authentic. So tea time, a little different mug today. I picked a different tea because it's a little later in the day, so I like to do, if I do caffeinated stuff before a certain time. But snowmen might be, of course it's that time of year, but this might be a sign in synchronicity. The dove is very powerful right now. I've been seeing a lot more doves. What else we got here? Just the colors, the reds, the greens, the holly at the top. So all of these things can be sign and synchronicities. My tree, her name is Joy. We introduced her. The poinsettias, the plants, the light codes. 303. There's another key code or sign and synchronicity for you. So sorry, I was going to read the tea bag. So this is a stress. The yogi teas are really good, and this one's the stress, which is, I think, clementine, and it's got different herbs to help with stress. And this, basically, I'm doing it to ground me from the energy of today. So this says, lift up others with your peaceful presence. Remember, your peace is your superpower. Your presence is your superpower. That message has been strongly coming through, especially in the Divinely Aligned Collective for all the beautiful soul family over there. So definitely lift up others with your peaceful presence. More again, these have been on point every day with the messages that I've been receiving and guided to share as well. So remember, your peace is your superpower, your presence is your superpower, and being more present in every now present moment, again, is what we're working at. That's what we need to just be mindful. Again, taking those sacred breaths before you leave, being conscious, not just going through the motions, doing the same old routine every single day, changing it up just by changing a mug, a beverage choice, a clothing. If you normally wear certain colors, changing your clothing colors up. There's just all these different ways how you can constantly shift and change through timelines, through the quantum, okay? I'm gonna take these off while we chit chat. So we are still in the portal of the super full moon in Gemini, of the twins, the duality, the mirror. Check your dreams. Mine have been weird for sure. Sometimes I'm remembering nothing. Sometimes I'm just having different dream scenes, as I call them. And I had a few different ones, but one specific that happened, I think I woke up shortly after 4 o'clock. Again, pay attention, especially if you're getting those dreams between that 3 and 5 a.m. time. I would, like I said, dictate or type in. If you're really good at journaling, how you're half asleep, go for it. And then revisit it. I didn't write anything down, so I'm just going to recall the little bits that I experienced, because the little thing that popped out was there was a mirror, and then I listened to a channeled message this morning, and it was talking about the mirror codes being activated through this full moon portal. Again, remember the 2-2 opened up the 12-12 portal. So remember, you're also not in this full moon portal. You're in all this cosmic convergence, all these astrological events. These alignments are not coincidental. All the solar flares, everything's happening precisely as it is supposed to be in this now present moment for the collective, for everything personally and collectively that we're going through right now. And you know, so we've got these portals and these activations and these integrations. That's why I think I was guided to so 555 on the timer. So again, that's a key code, because I saw that number twice last night. I saw it on my clock, and then I looked over in my battery was at 5.5. So it's that 5.55 energy. The 5.5, or 5 plus 5 is 10. So completion, new beginnings. Also that particular energy, the 1, 2, 3, 4. I saw that again, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the license plate. But just know that's, you know, why I was guided to share my frequency and energy this way, as well as through light language, to help you with the integration of everything that you've been receiving, as well as any symptoms that you might be experiencing at this time. So I've had a lot of sinus drainage, and that's just detox, right? So if your detox might be, depending on how toxified your system is, whether that's energetic toxicity or physical toxicity, environmental toxicity, your symptoms are going to be less than or worse than or somewhere in the middle. So my sinus drainage and stuff is just sinus drainage. It's just really kind of more annoying, because I'm constantly blowing or wiping my nose, because I'm constantly draining into this third eye and throat area. Okay, so that's part of that detoxification. Again, constantly receiving everything that the universe is offering me, but as well as listening to certain light languages or activations or meditations, they're also activating as well and unlocking 717 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit, for that. Okay, so just pay your attention to these things. Okay, whether you're in home scrolling and or movies or out in the wild. All right, so there was a lot that came through in a couple different channels. One channel was based more on Twin Soul, but a lot of some of the information I think is relevant as well for the collective. Okay, some information, so I just translated that in my own understanding. So if you didn't see my moon card pull, my moon card pull for last night using the Moonology deck for myself personally, after I did an oracle pull for a Facebook Live for that collective, it was shine, step into your power, take inspired action, and be real. So some of you we're going to pull those again today, because we're still in that portal. Very called to use those cards. They've been speaking not just to me, but as well as to the collective. So thank you for joining me, subscribing, liking, sharing, all of that stuff. And again, I don't do this to get any fame or recognition. I do this because I'm guided by source, by my super higher consciousness, my super conscious self, thank you, super conscious self, higher self, to do this, to share. This was the time. And Courtney and Zero over in the Divinely Aligned Collective had provided us a space to kind of be that catalyst, to help give us the space. Even though I've had a YouTube channel for years, I've never really utilized it, never had no desire in the fitness industry and the wellness industry. I had no desire to do content around that, but any content I do, it's do it because I'm always wanting to share in that present moment my real, raw, authentic self, and whatever frequency and energy that is in that moment, and share that with the collective. And that's constantly changing and evolving. It's constantly shape-shifting. I'm a shapeshifter. I constantly am shape-shifting. I'm not the same person I was yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, and fucking not a year ago. Same, but different, okay? All right. And so again, shine, step into your power, take inspired action, and be real. That was my personal card pull last night, okay? So this morning, I clicked on the first video that popped up. I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to watch that. That's usually how I roll if I start listening to channeled messages first thing in the morning, it's whatever's presented into it. If it's not, it's something, the first thing that I saved from yesterday, thinking I'm going to revisit it today first thing, okay? So that's kind of how I set my sacred algorithm up, and it has worked spectacularly, okay? So let's see here. So the main messages again, going back into quit swimming against the current. So if you feel like, again, this full moon is the reveal. It's revealing again where you are not putting yourself first, where you are not doing the healing, where you're burying shit and continuing to ignore it. This full moon is very revealing in so many ways, and it's going to be different for everybody, okay? And it's going to be different in the sense of where you are at in your process, in this awakening process, in your healing process, in your journey, okay? But if you're continuing to swim upstream, that's such a waste of energy. So it's again going back to the analogy of if you're swimming upstream, or if you're trying to swim into a dam, swim around it, go with the flow, and then let the dam break and let everything come to you, okay? So come back to the truth, okay? When you come back to the truth and you start flowing with reality, coming back to your truth. So when you truly come back to your truth, come back to your soul, magic starts to happen. When you're aligned with your truth is and your own reality. Magical things happen all the time. All right, magical things happen all the time when you continue to align with your soul and your soul's purpose, okay? But sometimes to get to that point, you have to go through the dark night. You have to go through the gunk, the shit, the sediment, bring it up, feel it, journal it, speak it, meditate on it, let it go, forgive it all, okay? And then we have to continue to adapt and go with the flow. 1133 on the timer, thank you, Source. So adapt and continue to adapt and go with the flow, right? Constantly have that adaptability and then going with the flow, and it's surrendering each and every now present moment when you feel like you're still holding on, or if you find your ego and your your ego mind or your small self still trying to hold on, trying to get you to time travel into things that don't exist anymore because they're in the past, or try to get you to go to the future, even those things they're not there, okay? So stay now here in this present moment, okay? And the quickest way is, again, going through that simple breath work, 3 to 5 breaths, 5 to 10 breaths, and just tune in. Remember, open up and expand, surrender and soften into your 0 point, into your quantum compass. Your heart is your quantum compass, okay? All right. Oh, shanya ta ta tiria ta ta nya ta ta to shanya ta ta. Okay, so in my dream state between 4 and 5 a.m., this is what I remembered when I woke up, because I actually didn't get out of bed till after 7, after I went through another dream scene. So like I said, when I get these windows or scenes, that usually works, and there's usually information 1, 2, 4, 4 on the clock. So if I'm remembering anything, it's usually like this clip, and it usually is nonsensical. And again, remember, it's not literal. That could be metaphysical, not metaphysical. It could metaphorical. Thank you. It could be maybe other timelines that you're working through. Maybe you're doing work in the other realms, which I know I am doing work in the other realms, but you could be doing work in the other realms, but in a scenario as a form of training. It's the other thing that's come in my awareness. You might be in a specific scenario, but you're doing forms of training that you're unconscious of what you're doing. You might not bring that. The scene might be completely nonsensical, but it's actually a form of training that you are experiencing in your sleeping state. All right, and most of us are doing some type of work. 1331 on the clock. All right, so I was questioning if I was getting spiritually attacked or psychically attacked, because there's a lot of weird shit going on energetically. Like I've felt this in a waking state in my physical room, but this was in a dream state, a dream scene. I was laying down and there was another person there that was the energy. I'm not going to go into details, but I felt like I could feel like certain energies, like I was, again, it's really weird. Something was going on, and I was lucid enough to realize that something was going on, and not feeling like a whole lot of great vibes on it. And then at some point I was standing in front of the mirror, and all I can remember is like visually seeing my face like splitting. I don't know if this makes sense, but it might make sense to somebody, and I'm guided to share this, okay? And again, I don't go to like I don't get too wrapped up in the what's the why. I'll write it down and let it go, and then whatever I was meant to see or hear or feel. So in the dream state, after this happened, or excuse me, when I woke up, I literally instantly went to source. But before I get to that, in the dream state, I remember standing in front of a mirror like I'm looking at you guys, and I could physically see like 2 parts of my face. Like they were literally like like if you were to take your face and literally pull it apart, and as you were pulling it apart, then as you pull it apart, then you've got two selves. Okay, so that might make sense. So I don't know if that's like ego and soul, you know, but looking in a mirror and doing that, and I don't know how long I was in there in that. So I had something going on here energetically in a laying state. Something energetically was being shifted and moved, and I could feel that in my body. There was other presences there that I don't know. And then all of a sudden I'm staring in the mirror after this happened, and then I see this split of self. But I wasn't necessarily the physical body, it was this part that I could see. And again, have never had that happen before. Don't know what that was. As soon as I woke up, I'm just breathing. I'm just like, okay, that was weird. Like, what the hell just happened? Was I sourced? Was I spiritually attacked? Was I psychically attacked? I mean, I'm very well, I know I've got legions. I'm so protected, but that doesn't mean that, you know, it just didn't feel great. Like it just didn't feel great. And I wasn't quite sure what was going on. I don't know if this was just my ego, my small self struggling, and that's the fear that came up, or the frustration or the annoyance. It was like more frustrated, you know, than annoyed. Like, what the hell was that? Like, what the fuck type of situation. Was it an ego death? Was it a splitting of like ego and self, soul, my true soul essence, into my ego and small self? Like, what was it? What the hell? And in that moment, I called in my archangels and asked them to just kind of help relieve this frustration, this anger, this fear, this anxiety, whatever energy that was presenting itself, emotions that were presenting themselves. I'm just laying here with my eyes closed, just thinking, okay, what the hell? And as I woke up, I literally felt a presence on my left side, which usually that's the side I usually feel something going on. And I wasn't sure what that presence was. It didn't matter at that point. It didn't, you know, I just kind of surrendered to what it was, and then called in source, called in my angels, asked to be wrapped up in love and compassion and safety and security, and just to help me let go whatever took place. 17:07 on the clock. And it was within less than 5 minutes, and breathing and calling in those energies, I was perfectly fine. And I think I got up and maybe used the bathroom and went back to sleep, and had another weird dream scene. Something completely different, just completely weird, and any of that. So I apologize, because this is just keeping it real. So again, like I said, I asked the team, so if you're experiencing that, maybe just go right to the source, no pun intended. Go right to source, go to your team. If you're able to hear your guides, talk to your guides, which I don't audibly hear, I don't see any of that. I could just telepathically just communicate and say, you know, I want clarity. Thank you. I want clarity. What the hell was that? What was taking place? Like, give me the answers. If that means I receive videos and information and channel messages that are going to give me the answer, or give me a clue, or just some information that's going to activate one of those aha moments, or like, oh, we got this puzzle. Oh, okay, I kind of get what that might have been. That's, you know, so I'm just like, okay. So again, get up, do my normal thing. Felt pretty good this morning after a rich day with the kiddo yesterday. A little ringing in my left ear, so someone might be feeling the ringings going on. That's completely normal. Again, always consult your doctor if you have concerns, blah, blah, blah. So I felt pretty good, so I thought I was going to get up and do a workout. Like I said, I had a date with a girlfriend today, later this morning. And so I was getting things around for my workout, listening to this channeled message, and what they had mentioned about the 12/2 portal opening, of the portal open for the gateway for the 12/12 portal, activation mirror protocol. So what they had mentioned, they were talking about, the activation last night was activating the mirror protocol codes. The mirror protocol codes. And because I'm like, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, I had something happen with the mirror and self just a couple of hours ago. So again, that's my team in a way providing a little bit of information. So I wrote truth bomb. Before I even got any further into the message, I heard activation mirror code protocol with the full moon. Again, it mirroring to you where you are not putting yourself first. Truth bomb, I wrote truth bomb, not listening to this channeled message. I wrote which channel message this was, and then I wrote energetic blueprint, with the mirror chamber reflections. So again, having that reflection, so I'm like, oh hell, was that something to do with that? And I was meant to remember that experience, even though it felt really weird and kind of off. I don't know. So I literally wrote truth bomb. I'm getting a really high toning right now, kind of all around. So that's definitely confirmation for me, and maybe for some of you. And again, why I'm so guided to share this 2022 on the clock was part of my dream, looking in the mirror, seeing a split, a duality, because that's what this full moon is also expressing, not just twin souls, but the duality within self, the duality in the collective, the duality in your sacred partnerships. So there's that duality develop maybe with your work or your family members. Okay, so this mirror protocol code that was activated during this full moon portal, again, I just wrote, was this part of my dreams? Was me looking in the mirror, seeing a split of duality between my ego self and my higher self, my soul, my true soul essence. It's hard to explain or put into words, I get that, but what's funny too is after I wrote Truth Bomb, I continued to listen to the message, and somewhere shortly after I wrote Truth Bomb, that was in the channeled message, like, this is a truth bomb. So truth bombs, that in itself may be relevant. 2121 on the clock, 2122 on the clock, on the timer. So just, and again, looking at myself and seeing this, like, literally, like, my face is split. There's a card or something like that's coming to mind. Like, there's this, is that the one of the like faces on a card deck? Does that have like a split or something like that? Like, it has two faces? That for some reason is dropping in. I haven't picked up a regular deck of cards in a while, and I question my soul, my ego. Was the reflection? Oh, and it says the reflection is in high definition. So this mirror code activation protocol is reflecting now in high def. Like, everything's going to be reflected back to you in high definition, whether that's people, places, things, jobs, me, loved ones, whatever it is. Okay. So I'm hearing wind chimes. So wind chimes came up in a channeled message, a channeled tarot card reading or intuitive message I received the other day as a correlation for me when I hear the wind chimes. Now I'm hearing wind chimes in this video I decided to pick today. And there's a snowman on the beach. Why not? It makes no sense, but why not have a snowman on the beach in the ocean? Like, it just makes no sense. But isn't that the point? It's supposed to make no sense. The more nonsense it is, right? Okay. So again, going back to wind chimes, sorry. So wind chimes might be a key code for you, a sign or synchronicity that this message is relevant for you. Or again, like I said, you might hear that in other channel messages that is relevant. 1010 has been huge today. So I literally went out into the wild for three and a half hours, spent a couple of those in the coffee shop. But the license plate numbers were just like I said, when you start opening up and activating, you cannot unsee and you cannot unknow. So the numbers are just constantly like in my face. Again, that's my key codes. That's my activation. Seeing those throughout the day is constantly activating me and triggering me and just awakening me. This, again, key codes. That's the reason. It's key codes, unlocking different parts, okay? I don't have to know what it is. It just is. I just understand that's what it is, okay? Everything is mathematics. So this morning during my workout, so 111, 122, 822, 3313, 3322, 5055. I already gave you 55, 555, 922, 911 came in last night, I think. A couple of movies. So Sister Act. So right before bed, I heard that song I haven't seen that movie for years. I heard I saw a little reel on it a week or so ago, where I think the kids are singing at the end, and that literally popped into my head before crawling into bed, and I think that was a sign and synchronicity, or that was a download. I know it was a sign and synchronicity where they're singing, and all I heard is sweet seraphim. So there's a connection to the seraphim, the fiery ones. So again, relevant to me, I believe. I'm going to check in deeper on that later today or tonight or whenever I meditate on the seraphim, but they're the fiery ones. I actually have journaled information on something that came through earlier in the season of journaling, and it literally says the seraphim, and it said fiery ones underneath it. So I believe, if I understand, the Seraphim are the first ranking next to Source in the archetype of the angels. Okay, I could be wrong. If I am, again, I haven't gone any deeper than that. All right. Key codes. So the 10, 10, and 11s. So if you're starting to see, because we're that Gemini portal, especially if you're in type of a twin soul journey, a twin soul activation, you're going to see the ones, right? The 10s, of course, we know it's the completion, new beginnings. It breaks down to the one. The year of the one is coming up. The 11s, the 111 ones, or the 111, definitely the 2s as well, can be correlated to many different ways, shapes, and forms. But if you're starting to see more of those, maybe that's a sign and synchronicity that you coded yourself, especially if you think or feel deeply in your soul that you are part of a twin soul journey. Again, this is not the pink fluffy shit. This is the activation. It is a journey. It is healing. It's for deep mirroring and healing. If you know, you know. Okay. So out in the wild, on the license plates I saw 321. When I got gas, it ended up being $29. It equals 11. When I got in the car, it was 209. So I got the 29 and then the 209, which is basically 29, 11, 11. Got in the car, and then I'm seeing license plates and they're adding up to 11, or they're adding up to 10. I got a couple of 13, so 13 might be relevant to you, as well as 13 is associated with the death card, death and rebirth, which again, a lot of us have been going through this, a lot of death and rebirth. It's not a one and done. The shadow work is not a one and done. Yes, we might have a massive part of it, but it's not a one and done. And then there's some bits and pieces that'll come up when you do the massive part of it. But some of you might be going through the death and rebirth. You might be going through the death of old self, of letting go of the old job, the old relationships, the old whatever it is, habits and addictions or whatever. And you might be just going through the process, where some of us might have already gone through it a little bit more in our stages. And again, it's not better than, we're just all at different levels and stages, okay? And we all experience these cosmic convergences and these portals and these activations and these downloads and these light codes and in these solar flares. We all experience them differently, but that's why we're here to share our story with you, because me sharing my story might help one person out in the collective, and then that person might share their story. No matter how crazy or weird you might think it is, it's going to help the next person. Do you see how that just helping that one person, that sets off that domino effect? And that's the point of it all, right? That's the point of it all. All right. So just look for the numbers, the key codes, the signs and synchronicities. Eagles are still coming through, taking the higher perspective. Hawks, vultures. So, that might be resonant to you. Owls are really strong right now. What else source do we have? Tigers, snow leopards. I got a story on that one real quick. I'm looking at this dog. So a white dog with black spots, or a white and black dog. Maybe you have one, or you're going to see one. Elves. I'm looking at elves right now. The snow leopard thing was interesting, because my kiddo's not real good at, he's 12 and he still believes in Santa. So we work with the spirit of Santa, right? The energy and spirit of Santa. So just trying to get him to write what he would like. And I actually had him circle some stuff in a couple of catalogs. And again, we don't focus, that's not our main focus. We try not to make that our main focus. It's like that, if you know what I mean. I like get away from all the consumption of that as much as possible, the energy of that part of this holiday season. Anyway, so he snurkled. Maybe someone's going snorkled. I don't know. Circled a stuffed snow leopard. He has a lot of stuffies, big ones and small ones. His stuffies are his people. He loves the stuffies. And he circled a white snow leopard. And like, oh, well, that's a new one. We don't have that one. And like literally after he left to talk, went to Dad's house, first thing I went to Facebook, and the first thing that came up, I think someone had posted a couple of different pictures of snow leopards, baby snow leopards, and like young adult snow leopards to adult snow leopards. So again, yes, the algorithm, yes, the intention, it's out there, it's magic, it's miracles, it's whatever you sign up for. And I say that's just a sign, a synchronicity, a magic, a miracle. I don't look at the negative aspect of it. I set my algorithm up to give me information that I've already key coded myself for, but that's going to give me the next key code to unlock whatever that is meant. So snow leopards might be relevant. Like I said, snowmen on the beach. Maybe there's a snowman on the beach. Okay, this is really weird. Okay, I gotta see this because I've never seen this video before, and these virtual videos are kind of funny on how people said, we got a snowman on the beach with the ocean, and there's a bunny. This is relevant, or I wouldn't be mentioning this. 3022. There is a white bunny with black eyes and black ears moving next to Santa as I'm telling you about this. So rabbits, again, rebirth, that rebirth card that's been coming out in the Earth Magic deck. But rabbits and bunnies, again, that rebirth, death and rebirth, right? That's hilarious because I literally looked over, I'm like, why is there a white bunny? Oh, it's moving, okay. So again, thanks for hanging out, listening to me ramble about just my day-to-day stuff. And I think that's why I'm guided, because that's relevant. When we are able to share our real life, raw, messy, magical, crazy, weird shit with other people, it helps. It really helps. It really does. I promise you. All right, we're going to see what the vibe is today since we're still in this portal. 3111 on the timer. So Sister Act might be relevant to watch. And then, I'm sorry, Raise Your Glass by Pink. I'm seeing that. That came up in the playlist. So Sister Act, I actually might watch that at some point because that's come up for me to watch. Usually if movies or guided, something comes up where I'm guided to watch certain movies, please go back and watch them. There's a reason why you're guided and you keep hearing about that. So Raise Your Glass by Pink. So listen to that. See if there's any information in there. And then maybe rewatch Sister Act. I don't know what movie I'm going to watch today. So again, continuing to good vibes now and in that present moment. So today, someone might be having a birthday. Someone might smoke, glasses. The colors, like I said, the pinks, the purples, the crown chakra might be relevant. So today, good vibes, good vibes. Karmics. All right, that's under there. We're going to read that. So karmics. So there might be some third parties. And remember, third party doesn't necessarily have to mean relationships. It can mean third party, parental third parties, family member third parties. It could be a third party addiction. It could be a third party job. Like if that third party, I didn't realize you always want to associate to a third party in a relationship, but that could be a third party, you know, addiction, like I already said, addiction, a working, like again, if you're putting, that person's putting something else in front, you might have some haters, you know, things are changing, you might have some haters, so it's just not getting wrapped up in it. And then there's lessons learned. Again, this is Buddha, so Buddha might be significant. There's a Buddha back here on my table. You can't see my Buddha back there behind that candle. And then lessons learned. All right, we're going to keep those out and we're going to shuffle. My throat chakra is definitely getting a lot of exercise. I think that's the other reason sources got me doing these videos, is for the exercising of my voice. Okay, lots and lots of 99. I heard this the other day, like 99% of people in the collective have blocked throat chakras, and I believe it. Standing up, speaking your truth, standing in your truth, speaking your truth. Did I say that? Speaking your authentic self. And that's why I know I have had many, and it's not just this lifetime, y'all. It's past lifetimes where you were suppressed or murdered or killed or tortured for speaking up, speaking your truth. It's not a surprise that's one of our biggest blocked areas. And so, yes, one and done. No, it's been a year-long activation and clearing activation. I did it again last night in the tub. I did some clearing of my chakra systems. I listened to some light language to help recalibrate my chakra systems. So you're going to know, and like I said, when you have these clearing, you're going to have detox symptoms, and that will look like physical breakout, skin issues, head pain, pressure, all of that. Okay, anything here, source? Sorry, I'm just like shuffling and talking as I do. I love this because I didn't realize that source and my superconscious self had so much to say or wanted me to share so much with you. But there's a reason for it. That's why we're here, right? To be sacred mirrors, 3444 on the timer. Is there anything else besides these two today on this deck? I'm hearing no. All right, so we're gonna take the bottom of the deck. So laughter, maybe you need to laugh a little more. Put some comedy on, man. I hit the money sometimes with some comedians. Sometimes part of their act is funny. Sometimes none of it's funny. This one, oh, he was funny. He was funny. So happiness, there's that joy again. Joy, the joy energy, the color yellow. The sun card is coming up. Maybe you need to bring some more joy back into your life. And that might look in any way, shape. This brings me joy. Talking to you and having a cup of tea. Laying on the couch in my PJs here shortly. Watching a movie. All right. Having a warm bowl of soup. And you're going through the healing. So honor the sacred pauses. Honor the cocoon phase. Honor those places where your team and source is asking you to slow down. Take a break. Honor yourself through this healing process and quit trying to rush through the healing process. Thank you, source. Quit trying to figure out and just be and just release and let it go. And quit trying to use things to avoid the healing processes. Thank you, source. Quit using substances like alcohol as an avoidance. Sex, porn is coming up. Exercise is a way to avoid nutritional protocols, chasing down different nutritional protocols or groups, or chasing down the next healing modality, things like that. So just sit into the healing and surrender to the process. And then that glow up, that God up is going to take place. New opportunities, new careers, and successful businesses. This has been coming in my awareness that I'm going to have new opportunities, new careers, and successful business. Okay? Building that generational wealth. Never having to want for anything ever again. Right? I have everything I need. Sources provided beautifully. All right? But more is coming. Okay? Thank you for that message. And we're going to pull, I don't know, maybe I'll pull a couple of these small light seer tarots. I like this tarot. This is the small deck. This is the pocket size. And then maybe a couple of Moonology cards. And then, like I said, this is it. I'm going to post these and see y'all later. Okay. We'll need the glasses for this little mini deck. All right, source, what do we have to share with the collective for the highest and best? Wind chimes again, in case someone missed that. Wind chimes is definitely a key code or sign and synchronicity. Not just for me, but somebody else out there in the collective. It's really weird that there's wind chimes. You don't see wind chimes, you can just hear them. All right, what do we have for the collective? Let's pull a couple of these. Four of Pentacles, Nine of Swords. Or sorry, not Nine of Swords. That might be relevant, never a mistake. So that's Nine of Wands. So Nine of Swords energy might be relevant for somebody. The Star card's coming out again. It came out last night in my tarot pull. Queen of Pentacles, again, that came out yesterday. For me, it's also been coming out in a lot of other, in this deck, the tarot readers that are using this deck, those cards have been coming out. Is there anything else, source, for this collective? In the Strength card. And the Moon card. Can't make it up. You can't. All right, I'm gonna get my handy dandy glasses. Four Pentacles for the collective. What do we have here? All right, Four of Pentacles. All right, stability, saving, success, generosity, accepting your worth. So again, know that you are worthy of it all. Being in the flow, there's that flow energy, going with the flow. Being in the flow with the universe. Feelings of gratitude, lots have all the gratitude and appreciation, helping others in times of need. So again, that's why we're here to be sacred mirrors. Holding space, sharing time, space, and energy, like I did today. with my beautiful girlfriend. She needed a little bit of someone to, help hold some space, and that's perfectly fine with me. All right. Our little affirmation is, I live in an abundant life and I have more than I need. I live an abundant life and I have more than I need. Next is that 9 of I say it again, 9 of Wands. I went to say 9 of Pentacles. So I've mistakenly said Pentacles, Pentacles and 9 of Swords. We know what the 9 of Pentacles is, but I'm just going to read the 9 of Swords just because I've said it on accident. So the 9 of Swords is nightmares, worry, feeling of depression or anxiety. So maybe someone needs to let that go and surrender and connect, meditate more, ground more. Nightmares, worry, feelings of depression or anxiety, insomnia, fear. An opportunity to find courage. Again, there's that Strength card, the courage. To focus on safety and stability in the things that are going well in your life. So focus on what's going well and not what's not going well. So your ego and your small self wants you to hyper focus and go in that death spiral on the shit that's not working. Let's move it over here and let's focus on all of the good shit that's working. Transfer the energy and see how that magic, just doing that, the magic that happens. Okay. Now I'm going to read so someone needed to hear that. So the 9 of Wands, determination, resilience, defiance, a last defense. Remember that final push. We're at that final push, everyone. All right, excitement for what's to come. So get excited. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. I can't wait to find out. Finding the motivation to face those difficulties, right? So going back to that 9 of Swords energy, finding the motivation to face those difficulties that are challenging you right now, okay? The Star card, you are the star, and that is the number 17 card, and the Moon card, of course, and the Strength card. All right, so the Star card. Number 17, please. I always think my videos are going to be like short, and they're not. They're 30 minutes or longer. The Star, expectations fulfilled, wishes granted, opportunities healing after traumatic events, knowing you are on the right path, inspiration renewed. I expect miracles. I expect miracles. Say it with me. I expect miracles. I expect miracles. I expect miracles. We expect miracles. All right. Queen of Pentacles. I love this. This is beautiful Earth Mother energy here. Beautiful, just sitting on her throne. Again, love this deck. Queen of Pentacles. A healer, working parent, self-made person, material wealth and abundance, strength in family and community, a kind and nurturing hearted groundedness, being down to earth and generosity. I enjoy my deeply connected life, and I lead it with an outpouring of warmth and abundance and love. So that's how I live when I'm out. I enjoy my deeply connected life, deeply connected with Source, my super higher conscious self. I lead it with an outpouring of warmth, abundance, and love. All right, I definitely sit in these Queen of Pentacles energy. All right, the Strength card, the number 8. Again, I saw, talking to my significant partner, the card that put in front of me was 5353, and it's 8, 8. So 8s. Might be seeing 8s in all ways, shapes, and forms. My throat chakra is crashing right now. It's time to wrap it up and rest it. All right. But again, that's the way this is supposed to be. I'm not going to just cut this short. I'm going to finish it. Courage, calmness, quiet strength. Remember, standing in your quiet strength. Influence, graceful leadership, gifted healer, purity of thought and heart, spirituality matters, compassion, and sometimes lust for an animal instinct. So that's interesting that lust or animal instinct came out, because yesterday we had the wolf card. So wolf might be a key code for you, which was talking about that animalistic instinct. And it said wolf and it said instinct on it. So that might be relevant. The final card for this pull, for this portal, is the Moon card. You got your duality, yin and yang, white and dark, light and dark, light and dark. All right, she's under the water there looking up at the starry moon. All right. $18, the moon card, illusion. So again, what is being hidden is going to be revealed in the collective within self. So again, if you're not looking at something and you're like, nope, it's going to be made known and made uncomfortable, and things are going to be more and more illuminated for you to work on those aspects that need healing. Hidden truths, the unknown. You could be getting revealed an unknown truth in your reality. Trust in your intuition, so deeply trust that intuitive instinct, that knowing. You don't, someone like, how do you know? I said, I just know. I can't explain how I know, I just know. You just know, and honor that and say, yes, I know, and leave it at that. All right. Facing your fears, the watery nature of the unconscious mind, the mystery. So facing your fears, the watery nature of the unconscious mind, the mysteries, the symbolisms, the metaphors, the perception, and the uncertainty in the dreams. So do we hear all that? So we're talking about dreams, uncertainties, perceptions, and the metaphors and the symbolisms and the mystery and all of that, okay? Don't let the mind and the ego get carried away. So here we go. I am safe, and I reach new levels of unconscious knowing as I surrender to the will of the universe. It's continuing to surrender to the journey, to the universe, and know that everything is happening and unfolding just as it's supposed to at the specific time it's supposed to. Remember, if you're feeling delayed or denied, you're not. You're just being divinely protected. Everything that is yours will be yours, okay? It will not pass you by. So I am safe, and I reach new levels of unconscious knowing as I surrender to the will of the universe. The unconscious surrendering to the knowing of it. All right, we're going to finish off with whatever messages Source wants to share with this Moonology. 47 minutes on the clock. 4 plus 7, 11. That's what I'm talking about. So again, you got to relax. Some of you are wound up tighter than an 8-day clock. I don't know why I meant to say that, but reflect on your priorities. Relax on the split again. So again, if you're feeling like you're frazzled, you're wound up like an 8-day, wound up tighter than an 8-day clock. I have no idea where that saying came from. Leave the past in the past. Leave it there. All right. All right, Source, do we have anything here to finish this reading for the collective, please? And thank you. Again, I hope you're having a beautiful day. Whether you're staying inside, hopefully you're honoring yourself, and it's a sacred hell yes in whatever you're doing, and you're not forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do. That it's, yeah. So if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. But remember that hell no is a sacred hell yes. And if it's not either, it's a just not right now. Maybe I will revisit that later on today. Maybe I'll revisit that tomorrow or in a week. Okay? You'll know. You'll know. You will know. All right. What do we got here? Okay, let's got a few out here. So we'll start here and see. So know your worth. Know your worth. Talk less and feel more. So maybe you need to talk less and feel into yourself more. Your 0 point. Push through all those insecurities that's come up. Again, push through the insecurities. Honor your feelings. Your feelings are your feelings. Don't get wrapped up in someone else's world. That's their world, not your world. You create your world. Be humble. Just be humble. Take inspired action. So if you're getting, then again, there's that full moon energy, that super full moon energy. So if you're feeling like you need to take inspired action, whether that means leave the job that you hate going to every day, if you feel guided to go to a different place, park in a different place, start creating content, Take that class, take that course, change your habits, do this, that, take that inspired action, listen to those nudges, listen to your intuition. And be proud of yourself for all of the hard work and everything that you've gone through. Beat 4949 on the clock. Be proud of yourself. Okay? And breathe through the tension. Going back to the breath. Go back to your breath. Always go back to your breath. It's the easiest thing you can come back to your 0 point, is go back to your breath. Have we seen this enough? Clearly, this is the message that the universe is trying to get out there. You need to relax more. You need to take some breaks more. Attune to the details. Maybe there's some things you need to wrap up. Attune to the details. And practice that gratitude each and every single day, all day long, gratitude and appreciation. And then we're going to finish with going with the flow of life. There's that supermoon energy again, that supermoon energy in Gemini. Thank you, Source. I just realized that this is the 3rd time I pulled this card in 3 days. I pulled it yesterday, I pulled it today, and I pulled it the day before. So thank you, Source, for that validation and that confirmation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So much gratitude and appreciation. And then you're going to trust Source. You're going to trust the universe. You're going to trust your super higher conscious self in the fact that they know exactly what they're doing and they've got it all handled for you. Let them do it. Surrender and let them handle the details that they need to handle. You worry about you. You do you, boo. You do the healing. You do the relaxing. You recalibrate that nervous system. Again, remember, this is part of this resting and relaxing. You've got to get that nervous system healed. You've got to get out of that fight and flight and get back into parasympathetic. All right, so we've spent most of our lives and many lives in a fight or flight system. Our nervous system is fried. It's fried. So Source and the universe is trying to get you back to self, back into the slowing down, to resting and to do the healing and to recalibrate and to heal your nervous system, right? Heal your nervous system. I made a joke. Thank you for reminding us. What was it? I had a mentorship meeting around my birthday. It was a birthday present for myself. And I made the joke, the haha. Even though I wouldn't have said this 6 months ago or 3 months ago probably, that, or 4 months ago or whatever, that if it takes me a year to heal my nervous system that has been in fight or flight all this lifetime and many past lifetimes, I guess a year is a drop in the bucket. Right? So that might be relevant to somebody. If you feel like this journey is taking forever, just remember, you've been here many times. You've been through many different lifetimes and you've experienced many different things. And most of those things may have been ugly, tragic, right? And you have spent most of that time in a fight or flight scenario. And your nervous system gets fried over time. The soul hasn't had time to rest. Now it's time to give your soul some rest so it can heal, so it can integrate, so it can recalibrate, so it can attune and receive everything that needs to receive, moving forward into this year of the fire horse, into the year of 1 of new beginnings. You can't do that on a fried, frazzled nervous system. You gotta step up and do the work. Take the initiative and then do that work and give the rest of it to Source, give the rest of it to your team, give the rest of it to your super conscious self, and let it just be. All right? And just know that you are worthy of it all and that everything will work out exactly how it's supposed to. And it's going to work out in ways that your mind and ego can't understand. Not supposed to, but it's going to work out in ways in that the mind and ego cannot understand, and that Source is going to blow your mind. Your team is going to blow your mind. It's 10 times better than you can even try to imagine or create. All right, so that's what I was guided to say. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I love you. See you on the next one. Bye.